Welcome to another Chess.com podcast. Now we're going to carry on with our mating pattern series, looking at some well-known mating patterns, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of these in your games. Now today's mating pattern is the Boden mate, which comes from an 1853 game between Samuel Boden, who's playing with the black pieces, against Shoulder, who was playing with the white pieces. And the Boden mate is completed with the two bishops, and quite often you get a sacrifice in front of the king, and most dramatically, as in this example, it's a queen that sacrifices herself. So we're going to quickly go through this opening, and I don't want to dwell too much on the moves. I mean, here Philidor defence is played against the Ponziani, and you can analyse this opening if you feel you want to learn a bit more about the position. But basically we come to a position where black certainly got the advantage. I mean, white plays poorly. I don't really want to analyse this, but moves such as f4 are very weakening, stopping the scope for the dark squared bishop. Certainly a move such as b to e3 would be better. But f4 was played, then bishop d7, bishop e3 came, and we're just getting towards the end of the game. And here white has got quite an interesting move you could make here. You could play bishop to d5, which begins to start to rescue the position. Black's got to start retreating pieces, and white can castle and possibly look at holding things together in what is already quite a poor position. But instead, white makes this mistake, and he castles queenside. As we can see, there's not a lot of protection around the king, pawn structure wise. There are just these kind of three pawns, and black can look at ways of removing these pawns and bringing his bishops in. We can already see that the light squared bishops covering the b1 square, and with the king and c2 square, and with the king not able to get to the d1 square, if black could somehow attack or check on c1, then it will be mate. So black continues with d5, which is a very, very strong move for a few reasons. One is that it frees the black bishop to come down to start attacking the white's king side and white king position, but also it's with tempi. But when we say in this position, it's actually interesting that whatever the bishop does, if the bishop came to b3, it would make no difference in this position. In fact, I think the best move that white can make is just to free up a square near his king, and it's still a very kind of lost position, and the bishop just falls. But what was played in this position was bishop takes d5, but then we see the killer move, queen c3 check, and now it's forced. The black king is stuck on the c square, so the only move is bishop takes c3, and then bishop a3 checkmate, and we see these two wonderful bishops coming in and delivering checkmate. So let's look at another example of the Boden mate. Well, our second and final game is going to look at a game played in 1922 between Jani and Steiner. Jani playing with the white pieces, and the game starts e4, e5, and we're going to a nice romantic King's Gambit. At the King's Gambit, black plays quite steadily and quite well, and actually gets an advantage according to the computer. Plays a very poor move here. The Steiner playing knight on g to e7. I mean, looking at this position going back, we've got certainly a threat here from the white bishop coming in to attack f7, and then this knight with a check picking up the bishop. We'll run through that in just a second. But what black got to his disposal, he's got a great diagonal here, but he's also got a wonderful square for his knight to come to d4, which should certainly be used. In this position, I'd certainly suggest bishop taking on f3, queen takes back, knight to d4. Certainly black's got the advantage in this position, attacking the queen, attacking this pawn if required. There's going to be a great diagonal for this black bishop, and his pieces should be able to develop much more quickly and be able to castle quicker as well. What pawn move was played? It was knight on g to e7, and then the inevitable happened, the threat. Bishop takes f7. Note that the king can't take back on f7 because the knight g5 check, king goes back to say e5, and the bishop on g4 drops. Black's got this dangerous combination of queen and knight attacking the king position. So the king just came to f7 in this position, and then the bishop dropped back to d3. The knight comes to d5, but without taking on f3 first, it's immediately taken. Note that black can't really take on d1, or well, he could, but this knight's threatening immediately to come in to e6, land the second check of the game onto the black king and pick up the black queen. So e takes d6 was played, queen takes g4, g takes c3, and the queen comes into this dangerous position here on e6, immediately threatening the mating square. On f7, queen comes to e5 to try and secure that. f5 is played, bringing in more forces. Bishop goes to d4, try and protect f6, but the f6 pawn can just come in, and we have the same pawn structure as in our last game, the original Boden game, but obviously in this game one of the pawns is from the opposing side. Now again, black's best move is simply just to move a piece out of the out of the way and free up a square next to the black king. We can see from this position that the black king's got no squares. It's very much like a smothered mate almost, the way some of these games pan out. Bishop takes on f6. Again we see the queen sacrifice, and now we can see the mate immediately because black is forced to take on f6, g takes f6, and then this bishop, first move of the game, once again it's bishop to h6, mate. So I hope you've enjoyed these two examples of the Boden mate, and I hope with the Boden mate and the other mating patterns we've been going through that you'll start to see these patterns arise in your game and carry them out. So thank you for watching another chess podcast. There'll be another one next week.